Hey guys, welcome back. Better Than Let's Play Season 2. This is episode 28. I'm Enigmius, and today we're continuing with our Mekanism Advanced Ore Processing System. You can see we've added quite a bit onto our hydrogen chloride plant. That's actually the complete system. That blue chest up at the top contains ingots, or will contain ingots, that are derived from the crazy process going on beneath, and we're going to go over that in detail today. Now, I just want to say hello to our new friend, the meteor. He landed on the roof of our airlock. The roof, the whole structure, because it's concrete, survived. I was very pleased that it survived. The pipes that were nearby did not. We had to replace a number of those. If you watched the last episode, you know that this section of pipe is what carries the brine from our salination plant to our hydrogen chloride plant over there in order to make the hydrogen chloride. And then I had to add this extra pipe just for clean water from our reservoir to come down here and become a part of this very involved process. So it's just plain water, nothing crazy. I'll just show you part of that process over here. Is electrolytic separators. Just like we use to make the oxygen that we keep our oxygen tanks full with. Same as what we're using over here with the brine instead of water to make hydrogen and chlorine. So we've got hydrogen and oxygen coming out of this little strip of electrolytic separators here. This is the oxygen side. This is the hydrogen side, and the hydrogen that we're making is just being piped into these tanks for now. Because if we let the hydrogen build up too much, this system stops working and producing oxygen because it's full of hydrogen. And it has no more room to put anymore. So that's just a temporary solution. We've got some other machines in here that are using water as well. And we're just going to kind of trace our way through this system as best we can so that hopefully it makes a little bit more sense. Now, realistically, if you want to be setting this up for yourself for the first time, you'll want to go to the Mekanism wiki and look at their page for the ore processing, because it tells you all the different steps laid out nice and neatly for you so that you can see what goes next and what goes first and all that other stuff. So first, ignoring the hydrogen chloride and the oxygen, because we now know where we're getting that, this chest here exists just so that I can put sulfur in it. And we'll put some in just so you can see. We put it in the chest. And now these pipes are the Mekanism logistical transporters, which is Mekanism's own item piping system. If you right-click with this guy here on the pipes where they connect to a block, you can configure how you want the pipes to work. In this case, we've got it configured to pull from the chest through the pipes into this chemical oxidizer. So that's the first stage, is we put sulfur into the chemical oxidizer, and it makes sulfur dioxide. It's very difficult to see because it's moving so quickly. As soon as it produces the sulfur dioxide, it goes into this pipe here and over to there. So this guy, sulfur dioxide. Then we come around here, all the way around here, because this guy's just kind of tucked in the back. We've got a chemical infuser. Now this is the same block, the same machine that we were using with our hydrogen chloride plants, to take the hydrogen and the chlorine and combine them together to make the hydrogen chloride. You can actually see one of them sticking out here. So that's what this guy is. We're taking the sulfur dioxide and putting it in here, and then we're taking the oxygen from our electrolytic separators, putting it in this side, and the result is sulfur trioxide. Normally you would be able to see it going in here, but again, it's being piped out as soon as it is used, as soon as it arrives, and goes into that machine over there. So sulfur trioxide from that guy. Let me out. I can't. I'm stuck. Let me. It's so scary in this machine. There we go. So from that chemical infuser there, we're bringing it to another chemical infuser. You can see this is the sulfur trioxide that we just made, and we're combining it with water vapor to make sulfuric acid. So the water vapor comes from this machine here. This is a rotary condensator, which is, it will convert water to water vapor or water vapor to water, depending on how you have it configured. In this case, we take water, and you see the arrow is sending it to the water vapor side. So we're making water vapor, sending it to the chemical infuser with the sulfur trioxide to make sulfuric acid. We then have this machine here, which is the chemical dissolution chamber. It's another way of saying this is where we dissolve the iron ore or whatever ores you happen to be using into a slurry. You see here we have an iron slurry that was made with sulfuric acid and iron ore. Then we pass it along this way. This is a gas pipe, but it's still taking the slurry, so I wasn't about to complain. Then we have the slurry on this side and the water connected to here in this chemical washer. See, iron slurry and water, and it makes clean slurry. In this case, clean iron slurry, because we're just, I guess, washing out the sulfuric acid and replacing it with water. I'm not entirely sure, but ours is not to question why. And then we have this chemical crystallizer. It's got the neat little whirligig down underneath there. It takes the clean iron slurry and produces shards. I think it's shards. Are they shards or crystals? No, they're crystals at this stage. No, we didn't get them in time. But you can see they're coming out here, and they go through this pipe and up here to this guy, the chemical injection chamber, which is receiving hydrogen chloride from our hydrogen chloride plant. Here we go. The iron crystals combined with the hydrogen chloride make iron shards. You can see them moving through the pipe there. They're sharp looking little shards. Iron shards in this purification chamber combined with oxygen. So that's the second use of oxygen that we're getting from the strip of electrolytic separators. You can see the pipe going up there and connecting. You can, if I jump and irritate you enough, you might not care, but there you go. That's kind of a good view. It comes up, connects here, takes the shards, and then it makes these, I think these are clumps. Yeah, iron clumps into the crusher, makes iron dust, and then iron dust into the zombie makes Iron Man. I think he's attacking my machines. Oh, no, there he is. He's after the wall. Oh, how did I miss that? There we go. Get rid of that guy. I don't get too many monsters down here, but when I do, they're always obnoxious. So we get the iron dust coming through there. Sorry, the dirty iron dust into the enrichment chamber, where it's converted to iron dust, like so, and then it is smelted and sent up into there. That's the process. So what I did, ignoring everything that's in my inventory right now, I took a stack of iron and I started this whole process, got everything going. Whatever we end up with in this chest will tell us what we get out of a single stack of iron ore that we put into this system. It's not a fast system because there are many things that have to pass through many things in order to arrive at a place where everything is done and in ingot form up there. Now, the only thing I have to be careful of is that none of the machines are bottlenecking, because unfortunately I had to use Buildcraft pipes in order to finish the automation. That's the word, the automation. The logistical pipes, it didn't matter what I did. I could set it up so that it's working with the Buildcraft pipes. These are the same wooden transport pipes that we all know too well. The nice thing about it is you can connect the wires from your power plant to the wooden transport pipes, and it precludes the need to connect the motor. That was actually, or an engine. I was very happy about that. But you can see basically what that means is that this wooden transport pipe is set to pull items out of the machine, and then it just sends them along and goes in there. Just the same as this is set to pull items out of the chest, and it'll send items along and it'll go in there. If I put the logistical transporters on here and set them to pull, they don't do anything. If I set the machines to auto-eject, they don't do anything. If I set the machine to auto-eject and set this to plane, they don't do anything. But as soon as I replace the logistical transporters with the buildcraft pipes, it works. So I don't know what the failboat is, and I don't really care. We can only spend so much time dorking around with it before we say, this is stupid. So, at this point, all we can really do is let this guy run, and then take a look at it when it's all done. And we're back. Hooray, it's done. It finished. It's nighttime here on Mars. Brine is going to be an issue because we can only produce brine during certain periods of the day, specifically when the sun is out, and the rest of the time there is none. And then all of our machines over here making hydrogen chloride tend to sit idle. So I'm not sure if I'm extracting the brine as quickly. Obviously I must be, because it's empty. It doesn't really matter how fast I'm extracting it. I just think that we're using a lot. We're using a tremendous amount of brine. We'll sort that out in the future. Meanwhile, as you're cursing me for making you wait, the moment of truth, from that single stack of iron ore, 4.5 stacks of iron ingots. Now, this is the tier 4 processing setup. The tier 3 is supposed to be 4 stacks. Every time I turn around, it's another one of these guys, and they can actually climb the machinery. I'm not safe anywhere. Stop climbing the machinery. Jerkface. So 4 stacks and just over a half of a 5th stack. That's not bad, considering that's more than double what you get from most other options. It's not fast. It took about 20 to 30 minutes to work its way through this whole process. I've seen ore processing systems in the past that they take a long time, but it's arbitrary weights. It's like this machine takes 20 minutes to do its job. This one machine. And there were some things and some stuff, and I'm specifically not mentioning the name because that's not really what it's about. I'm not trying to make anyone look or feel bad, but it's one of those situations where if they wanted to make it take longer, to make it seem meaningful, there are better ways to do it. I think this is a pretty decent way to do it because each step along the line makes sense. Like, we're making the chemicals that we need in order to process this, and then we're making extremely powerful acid to dissolve the ore so that we can convert it into a slurry. Then we clean the acid out of the slurry, and then we crystallize. I don't know how you crystallize metal, but apparently from here on out, I would say this is the only step that I'm not really 100% makes sense. One way or another, you're extracting the ore from the various different other materials more efficiently than you would if you were just grinding and burning kind of thing, and then you're passing it through the process to get the most out of it. I kind of like that. For 4 times the ore, 4.5 times the ore, that's pretty decent. If I was going to set this up to do multiple ore at the same time, I would do it like I've always done my multi-ore setups. I would have basically this entire setup for each different kind of ore. Only I would sit down and figure out how to assemble everything properly so that it doesn't take up all of this space. We could probably condense it pretty significantly, but we may make that another project for another day as well. I'm not sure what we're going to do next. There's lots of things that we can do. I have to just decide on what it's going to be. I think for the time being, I'm just going to leave this as it is because it's very much fitting with the theme of the Nothing Factory, of being big and crazy looking with all the pipes and the wires and the tubes and the things kind of going around all over the place. I especially like the look of this. I've always, ever since I built it, I was like, wow, that's pretty neat looking. And we've got this whole area to fill, and then we've got to build up. So there's lots that we can do. The next episode, I'll tell you what we're going to start working on next, and then we're going to do it, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to do probably nothing, because this is the Nothing Factory. If you want to be notified when I add that next video, you can always subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. That's one way to do it. The other way is to follow me on Twitter and Google+. The links for that are in the information section below the video. Please do leave your comments and feedback. They're important. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.